Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Huzur says that the promised Messiah والسلام, on one occasion, mentioning the status of the companions of the Holy Prophet ﷺ, he said that the companions, may Allah be pleased with all of them, they were the living proof of the noble character of the Holy Prophet ﷺ. And if somebody loses this proof, then such a person loses the prophethood of the Holy Prophet ﷺ. So the only that person can have the real value of the Holy Prophet ﷺ, who values the prophets. And those who do not honor and value the companions, they cannot show the real value of the Holy Prophet ﷺ, and he is false in his claim if he says that I love the Holy Prophet ﷺ, because it is impossible that somebody should be loving the Holy Prophet ﷺ and at the same time he should have any sort of enmity in his heart against the companions. He said the companions of the Prophet ﷺ, they were such a pious community who never ever left him alone. And in his way and for his sake, they never hesitated in giving their life. Rather, they did not hesitate in doing that. He says that the Holy Prophet ﷺ, in his obedience, they completely lost themselves so much that for that sake, they were ready to bear all types of hardships and difficulties at all times. Therefore, this is the status of the companions of the Holy Prophet ﷺ, which every Ahmadi should always keep in front of them. Whenever we read something about the noble character of the companions and we get knowledge about these things, then their high status clearly comes in front of us. And this status, it draws our attention, it should draw our attention that their character and their noble status and their doings and their levels of worship, they are truly example for us, and we should make it a part of our life. I am going to relate some incidents of the companions. Abu Dajana Ansari was one of the companions. Before the migration of the Holy Prophet ﷺ, he accepted Islam. He was a resident of Medina. He also had this honor that the Holy Prophet ﷺ, along with him, he participated in the Battle of Badr and showed great boldness. And also in the Battle of Uhud he participated. He was honored to participate. And after the tide was turned, when the Muslims were winning, and then there was a change of tide, and because of leaving one place, the opponents, they attacked them again. And against the Muslims, the tide turned against the Muslims. And those companions who were very close to the Holy Prophet ﷺ at that delicate time, in that Hazrat Abu Dajana was one of them. And the Holy Prophet ﷺ, in his defense, he got injured and showed the courage, and despite the injuries, he did not desist. This incident is narrated in narrations that when the Holy Prophet ﷺ, he raised his sword, and on one occasion he said that who is going to do full justice to the honor of this sword? Then Abu Dajana Ansari, he came forward and he said that I promise today that I will do full justice to the honor of this sword. The Holy Prophet ﷺ, looking at his passion, he handed over the sword to him, and then he asked for the second time that, O Prophet of Allah, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, how can I do full justice to the right, to the honor of this sword? He said, the Holy Prophet ﷺ said that this sword should not shed the blood of any Muslim, nor any non-Muslim should run away from it, should be able to escape from that. The one who is not having any enmity, they should not be, they should not be injured through the sword, but only those people who are fighting. And he took the sword, and he, with great pride, he came to the battlefield. And he says that when the Hazrat Abu Dajana was walking with great pride, so the Holy Prophet ﷺ said that although Allah Almighty does not like this style of walking, but this way of walking with pride that Abu Dajana is showing today, that has Allah Almighty has greatly appreciated that. In the battle of Yamama against the Musailima Kazab, when the fighting was going, he embraced martyrdom at that time. He, in order to open the door of the fort, and these people had closed the door, so he planned to open that door, and he said to his companions that you throw me over the wall inside the fort, and he got his leg broken there. But despite that, very boldly fighting against the non-believers, he opened the door of the fort, and the Muslims entered into it. This was an amazing expression of his courage and boldness. But anyway, in this condition, he kept on fighting until he passed away. One day in sickness, he said to his companion that maybe Allah Almighty is going to accept one of the two things. One thing, that I do not talk idle and vain things at all, and I do not indulge in backbiting. And the second thing is that for any Muslim there is no enmity in my heart and no rancor. Hadhrat Muhammad Muslima is also another companion who is mentioned. He was from early Ansari Muslims. He was very bold, and he was a bold person. In one battle, he showed the steadfastness in that battle, and along with the Holy Prophet ﷺ, he kept on. He stayed in the war, and one special thing was about him was that regarding him, the Holy Prophet ﷺ made a prophecy. It was fulfilled in this way that the Holy Prophet ﷺ, on one occasion, he handing over his sword to him, that as long as you are going to fight with the non-Muslims, idolaters, you fight with the sword. And whenever the time is such that the Muslims start war between themselves, then you break the sword and you just keep sitting in your house, so that until the time that somebody comes and attacks you or you die. And he followed this advice strictly. And this was after the martyrdom of Hazrat Usman. He followed this, that he actually literally broke that sword, and he made a sword of wood which he used to hang along with him. Somebody asked, what is the benefit of that? He said that the wisdom of that is that people may be feeling awe of this, and also I may be able to comply with the instruction of the Holy Prophet ﷺ, that now this sword is not to be used for any other purpose, and the sword made of wood is not going to give any harm to anyone. Some companions used to say that if somebody was never ever affected by the trial of the martyrdom of the Hazrat Usman, if somebody was not badly impressed by that, that was Muhammad bin Muslima. One of them was there. In order to keep away from these trials, he went into open and deserted places, and he said that unless all the trials are over, I intend to, that I should spend the rest of my life in desert. So these were the people. When they fought, they fought for this thing that the religion is being attacked. And because the Holy Prophet ﷺ has told that the idolaters, those who attack to do away with the religion, you fight with them. And the Muslims, as long as they stuck to this and they had the strength and power, then they continue to be winners and dominant. And when they were influenced by the talks of other people, and then they started fighting with one another, although the governments were there, but the worship was not there, and also the governments also became weak. And nowadays we see that the mutual differences of the Muslims, they have gone to all heights. And the Holy Prophet ﷺ, the another prophecy which he made, that has also been fulfilled, that after the dark ages, when the light, the period of light will come, the time of the promised Messiah will come, then you believe in the promised Messiah and always be attached to the community, because all the blessing lies in that. But by not believing in the one who was sent by Allah Almighty, we see that the Muslims in their own country, they are thirsty of the blood of their brothers. And the result of that attitude is that today the opponents, the non-Muslim world, they are actually practically ruling the Muslims, ruling over the Muslims. And about this Compagnons, there are examples of his very good in opinion, and that's why the caliphs used to depend upon him very much, rely upon him. Particularly Hazrat Umar handed over and entrusted some important jobs to him. Hazrat Umar, some of the times when there were complaints from the rulers, and those who were appointed by the administration, when there were some complaints from other countries, so then in order to investigate about that, he used to send Muhammad bin Muslima was sent by Hazrat Umar. One earlier companion, Abu Ayyub Ansari was his name. He was very fortunate that the Holy Prophet ﷺ, during his time in Medina, he had the honor of serving the Prophet ﷺ. Everybody wanted that the Holy Prophet ﷺ should stay at his home. And at that time, everyone was very much desirous. And everyone was mentioning this, and they were presenting this request to him. The Holy Prophet ﷺ said that, leave alone my she-camel. Wherever Allah wills, it will stop. And Abu Ayyub Ansari, it is his good fortune that the she-camel stopped in front of his house. But the people again were not satisfied that our houses are also very close by, please come and stay with us. At that he drew the lot, and in that again the name of Hazrat Abu Ayyub Ansari was there. The Holy Prophet ﷺ stayed in his house, and during the stay there is an incident of that his house was 2-story, and on the upper floor Abu Ayyub Ansari himself was staying, and the lower floor was entirely given to the Holy Prophet ﷺ. And one night on the first floor, the pitcher or a pot full of water that got broken. They were clay, made of clay, and the water used to be kept in such pots. And nowadays as well, in the third world, in poor countries in India and Pakistan, these pots are very common. Anyway, it was broken, and Abu Ayyub Ansari, the whole night they tried to keep it dry, and next day they related the incident of the last night to him, and he and they requested that to the Holy Prophet ﷺ to come to the first floor. The Holy Prophet ﷺ accepted their request, and for 6-7 months the Holy Prophet ﷺ stayed there. He was very hospitable. He really did the full justice of hospitality, and all the things, whatever was left over after the Holy Prophet ﷺ has taken, he used to live on that and eat that. And it is mentioned that wherever they found the fingerprints of the Holy Prophet ﷺ and the food that was left over, they used to take the food from there. And one day they saw that there was no fingerprints on the food. So then they went to the Holy Prophet ﷺ and they said that, Huzur, have you not taken any food today? The Holy Prophet ﷺ said that I was just about to eat, that in this food, this raw onion and garlic was there, and that's why I did not like it. So then he decided that anything which he does not like, and I will not eat both these things in future. So this was the expression of the love and devotion of Hazrat Abu Ansari. Abu Ansari, he participated in all the defensive battles. In the battle of Khaybar, and the big leader who was killed, his daughter Safiya was taken into the marriage with the Holy Prophet ﷺ. And in the morning, when the Holy Prophet ﷺ came to lead the prayer, and then he saw that Abu Ansari is standing outside as guard. The Holy Prophet ﷺ asked him that, why are you standing here as guard? He said that the relatives of Hazrat Safiya, they have suffered loss at our hand, and some of them have been killed. So I thought that maybe somebody comes here and creates a mischief and try to revenge. So therefore I came as a guard. At that, the Holy Prophet ﷺ, he prayed for him that, O my Allah, Abu Ayyub, always keep him in your protection and care, as the whole night long he was standing there in my security. Hazrat Abu Ayyub, he participated in Battle of Rome, and despite the fact that he was quite old, and he just participated for this purpose, that the Holy Prophet ﷺ, there was a prophecy of the Holy Prophet ﷺ, he may be able to see that about Constantinople. And after that he got ill, and when he was asked about his last desire, he said that, give my salam to all the Muslims, and my grave, as far as you can go there and put my grave there, make my grave there. And when he passed away during the night, when the janaza, his funeral prayer was taken into the territory of the opponents as far as they could, and there his grave is there in Turkey even today, in these days, and the people go to see that. And there are some narrations that some people, they have made these traditions. Sometimes they beg from them, and this is they say that whatever prayer is made at their grave, that is accepted. Anyway, these are some of the stories fabricated by people. The Holy Prophet ﷺ, the prayer that he made for his safety and security, the result of that is that he participated in so many wars, and despite the long age, everywhere he came as victorious, and he was blessed with a long life. And then we see that another companion of the Holy Prophet ﷺ is Abdullah bin Rawaha. He was a famous poet of Arab, and he was known as the poet of the Prophet. He was known as that with the title. At the end of the Battle of Badr, the news of the victory he was the one who brought this news to Medina. Abdullah bin Rawaha, his love with the Holy Prophet ﷺ and devotion, and there are so many examples of that. In one place it is mentioned that Urwa narrates that Hazrat Usama bin Zayd told us that the Holy Prophet ﷺ, he was riding on a donkey and there was a seat there and there was a sheet underneath. He asked Usama to sit on his back, and he went to inquire about Sa'd bin Ibadah who was from Khazraj, the tribe of Khazraj. He went there. This incident happened before the incident of Badr. And the Holy Prophet ﷺ passed by some people, Muslims and Jews and the idolaters. They were sitting together. Abdullah bin Ubay was also there, and Abdullah bin Rawaha was also sitting there. When the Holy Prophet ﷺ came close to this place of meeting, and because of the donkey, and there was some dust risen, and Abdullah bin Ubay put his sheet on his nose and said, "Don't put the dust on us." The Holy Prophet ﷺ said to them, "Assalamu alaikum," and then he stayed and then got off the ride and invited him to Allah and gave the message. Abdullah bin Ubay said to the Holy Prophet ﷺ that, "O person, this is not good. If whatever you see that is correct and true, even then, don't disturb us in our meetings. And you go to your place, and whatever comes to you, then you give this message to them." Hazrat Abdullah bin Rawaha, who was sitting there, he submitted to the Prophet that, "O Prophet of Allah, you please do come to our meetings. We like it." And he did not care what his leader had said. This was the spontaneous expression of the love which he had for the Holy Prophet ﷺ, which was expressed by Abdullah bin Rawaha. And he did not care for these worldly leaders at all. Hazrat Ibn Abbas narrates that the Holy Prophet ﷺ, in one expedition, he sent some companions. In that, Abdullah bin Rawaha was also there. It was a Friday, and the people, they started in the morning. But Abdullah bin Rawaha said that I would stay behind and I will offer the prayer with the Holy Prophet ﷺ, and then I will go and join these people. The Holy Prophet ﷺ, when he saw him there, that he is present in the mosque, so after the Jummah prayer, the Holy Prophet ﷺ asked him that, "What have you stopped you from not joining with your friends and going out?" He said that, "O Prophet of Allah, it's my great desire, it was my desire that at least I should join the Holy Prophet ﷺ in the Friday sermon and listen to the khutbah, and later on I will go and join these people." The Holy Prophet ﷺ said that all that in the earth, if you spend all of that, so then those people, according to because the obedience is essential, those people who are started earlier, started in the morning, they got all the reward. In that sawab and that reward, you will never be able to get that. And whenever it is narrated that whenever on any expedition or journey, he had to leave, and Hazrat Abdullah bin Rawaha used to join in that expedition first of all and used to return at the end of other people. According to one narration, Urwa bin Zubair narrates that the Holy Prophet ﷺ, in Battle of Mota, Zayd bin Harisa, he was made the leader, and he said if he dies, then Jafar bin Abi Talib would be the leader, and if he also got martyred, then Abdullah bin Rawaha would be getting the leadership. And if he dies and he is martyred, then Muslims can pick up any leader. So the departure of this group, when the time came, then Abdullah bin Rawaha, he started crying. He said, "Why do you cry?" He said, "I have got no love for the world, and I don't have any desire to get that. But وَإِن مِّنكُمْ إِلَّا وَارِدُهَا كَانَ عَلَى رَبِّكَ حَتْمًا مَقْضِيًّا." That regarding this verse, I have heard from the Holy Prophet ﷺ that everyone has to face the fire. So I don't know whether on the narrow path, when I will be there, what will be my condition. But regarding these people who have the fear of Allah Almighty, the Holy Prophet ﷺ, the good end which he mentioned, that is also related and mentioned. The Holy Prophet ﷺ has said regarding the Battle of Mota, that the people, that I have seen these people sitting on the golden thrones in paradise. So these are the people who achieved their objective, and their passion of martyrdom is very clear from this one verse in the translation of that my arrow and bow. So there should be such arrows should coming to me, which go through my ears and go to my liver. And may Allah accept my martyrdom. And when people should pass by my grave, and they should say that Allah have mercy on this person, what a great martyr he was. In Battle of Mota, when he got martyred, the detail of that something is like this. When he arrived there, he came to know that the opponents against the Muslims, they have sought help from the king of Persia, and he has a troop of 200,000 people as the help of the opponents. And at that the Muslims consulted between them that they should send a message to the Holy Prophet ﷺ that the number of the Muslims is very big, so therefore some more help should be sent. Or if there is some other instruction, then we are ready to follow that. And then Abdullah bin Rawaha, he encouraged the Muslims, and his poetry was very useful at that time. The 3,000 people were there. They stood against the 200,000 troop of the opponents. And the desire of Hadhrat, for martyrdom has been mentioned, that Hazrat Abdullah bin Rawaha, he asked me to ride on a mount behind him, and Zayd bin Arqam was told by, he was taken as an orphan, and he looked after his nourishment. And one night Hazrat Abdullah bin Rawaha, I heard him recite this verse, in which with the remembrance of his family members, he said that now I am not going to go back to my home. And he was singing this verse. And when he was saying to his wife that when you on the Thursday evening, when you prepared the saddle for me, what was the good opportunity and good thing, and there is nothing bad in you, but now I have come into this battlefield, and I am not going to go back from this battlefield. And he was saying goodbye to his family members. And when the other people listened, they cried. And Hazrat Abdullah scolded them that if Allah Almighty gives me the martyrdom, so what's harm in that for you? So then you will be able to sit alone on that mount and go back. In the battlefield, Hazrat Abdullah bin Rawaha, he showed a great courage and boldness. And somebody said that when Hazrat Jafar got martyrdom, then Hazrat Abdullah bin Rawaha was called upon. So he said, and he was saying this verse in Arabic, and he says that, "O myself, are you not going to fight in a way that you sacrifice your life? you have entered into the pool of death, and the desire that you made, this is the time to fulfill that desire. So if you offer your life, so maybe that your end is very good. Musab bin Shiba bin says that when Hazrat Zaid and Hazrat Jafar, they both embraced martyrdom, that Hazrat Abdullah bin Rawaha came. When he was hit by the spear, then there was the blood gushed forth, and then he took the blood in and he put it on his face, and then he entered into the battlefield. But he continued to encourage the Muslims till the last moment, and he incited the Muslims for courage, for fight, and they say that this is the dead body of your dead brother is in front of you, so make the enemies go away from this. So then the Muslims, they attacked the enemy and continues in their attack, and during that period Abdullah embraced martyrdom. One of his very outstanding quality, his widow said after his martyrdom, that when widow was got married, then the husband said that regarding the noble character of Hazrat Abdullah, you tell me something. So what a beautiful evidence that widow gave. And he said, Abdullah bin Rawaha, that he never ever went away from a house unless he had offered 2 rakat of nafal prayer. And whenever he entered in the house, the very first thing used to be that he, after performing the prayer, first he used to offer 2 rakats of prayer. So these were the people who always and every time they used to remember Allah Almighty. And the high standard of their obedience is also mentioned in one narration. Hadhrat Abu Dajana says that once the Holy Prophet ﷺ, he was delivering a sermon. During that time he said that please sit down. Hazrat Abdullah bin Rawaha, he was coming to the mosque in the lane nearby, and he sat there. And the Holy Prophet ﷺ, addressing him, he said that Allah Almighty bless you with provision. That, O Abdullah, Allah and this and obedience to Allah and the Messenger Allah Almighty increase you in that. And in talking about religious matters, and to hold such meetings, and speaking purposefully, and to discharge the responsibility, what was their standards? Hadhrat Abu Darda says that I seek for protection of Allah from this thing, that anybody such a day should come in my life when I do not remember Hazrat Abdullah bin Rawaha. Every day I remember him. And the reason of that is that the quality of Hazrat Abdullah bin Rawaha, that whenever I met him, if he was coming from back, then he would put his hand on my shoulder, and if he was coming from the front, then he would put his hand on my chest and say that, O Abu Darda, let us sit together and increase our faith, and we talk about the religious things and increase our faith. And whenever we found time, we used to remember Allah Almighty and increase our faith. And he used to say, these are the meetings of faith. So these are the examples. These are the examples. Whatever they did, the Holy Prophet ﷺ, regarding his meetings and about his behavior and attitude, he has appreciated that. Hadhrat Anas says that Hazrat Abdullah bin Rawaha was in the habit that whenever he used to meet any companion, then he used to say that, oh my brother, come together, let's believe in Allah for a while. It means remember him. And once somebody was asked, he got offended, and he came to the Holy Prophet ﷺ and he said that, O Prophet of Allah, Ibn Rawaha, look at him. He asked the people to believe in Allah, and then instead of believing in you, and for a while he takes the people away. And the Holy Prophet ﷺ said that Allah Almighty may have mercy upon Abdullah bin Rawaha, And because he likes the meetings, he likes such meetings which are even the matter of honor for the angels. So he was a poet of a high order, and he, among the poets, Hazrat Ka'b bin Malik, Hassan bin Sabit, apart from him, he was the third very renowned poet, and his poetry was very moving. And he says that Abdullah bin Rawaha, he was well known even before accepting Islam. And when he accepted Islam, he was given a high status as a poet. In the praise of the Holy Prophet ﷺ, Hadhrat Abdullah bin Rawaha, he said one verse which can be described as one of the best verse that describes the condition of his heart, in which Abdullah bin Rawaha, addressing the Holy Prophet ﷺ, he said, "Lawlam takun fi ayatun bayyana." Then the meaning is, that the Holy Prophet ﷺ, for expression of truth, all the bright and brilliant signs are there, which are always with him. And otherwise, his face alone was good enough to prove his truthfulness, which was making it so clear. So these were the people who were really true lovers of the Holy Prophet ﷺ, who looked at and they recognized him by looking at his face. And then in the history, we also find the mention of two young brothers, and their boldness is also surprising, Muaz bin Haris and Muawaz bin Harsa. And they were and they took part in the killing of Abu Jahl. In the field of the Badr, when the battle was going on very furiously, very severely, and the Muslims, there was the opponents were three times more than that, and they also had the weapons, and they had come with this intention, with determination, that they are going to wipe away the name of Islam. The Muslims were few in number, and Hazrat Mirza Bashir Ahmad Sahib, Sirat Khatamun Nabiyyin, in his book, he has mentioned this incident in detail. And they were away from their and they were very poor. And according to the equipments that these Muslims, they were just a matter of few minutes to be defeated. But the love of the Holy Prophet ﷺ and the prophethood, these things had made them such determined that as if there was nothing more powerful and stronger than them. And unusual type of courage was invested in these people, and they were showing the example of the steadfastness and courage, which was matchless. And all of them, they were desperate and to offer their lives for the sake of Islam. And the example was that, some example is that Hazrat Abdul Rahman narrates that when the battle started, then I looked to my right and left. Then I saw that the two young children of Ansar, they are standing there. When I looked at them, I was very dismayed that in these battles, normally the people depend on who is on the right and who is on the left. And only that person can fight very well whose sides are very supported. And Hazrat Abdul Rahman says that I was thinking about this, and one child on one side, that how these children are going to support me. That one of the child asked me, as he was hiding this conversation from the other, he asked me that, "Uncle, that where is the Abu Jahl who used to torture the Holy Prophet ﷺ in Mecca? I have decided, I have promised to Allah that I am going to kill him, or otherwise I will be killed in this attempt. He said that I have not yet answered this. And the other boy on the other side, he also quietly asked the same question. So then I was surprised to look at their courage, that Abu Jahl was a big leader, and all around him there were very experienced soldiers were all around him, safeguarding him. With my hand, I pointed out that over there is Abu Jahl. And Abu Abdurrahman Sahib says that I just sighed, but these people just jumped and pounced upon them. And within a fraction of a minute, they reached there and they killed Abu Bakr instantly, and all the people could not safeguard him. And he fell down, Abu Jahl. Ikramah was also along with his father, but he was there and he attacked Muaz, and his arm was cut off, and as this arm which was hanging there, so he pulled it up because it was a hindrance in the fight. And in these children, this was the great passion of and this feeling of honor of the Holy Prophet ﷺ and the love of the Holy Prophet ﷺ, which made them absolutely fearless, because the enemy was who was bent upon to finish the Islam, and who had been giving torture to the Holy Prophet ﷺ. They were very keen and zealous that their end should be with their hands. They were not like the terrorists of today, that who radicalize the children in the modern age, and then ask them to come to the battlefield and fight for the sake of Islam. No, their desire was that although we have been separated, but we have to give every sacrifice for the sake of establishment of peace. Nowadays, in order to capture the states and governments, the youth are abdicated and radicalized. There was a news recently, a 14-year young boy in Syria. He came out of their clutches and he said, somebody kidnapped me and then took me by force, gave me the training. First, I did not accept when I was tortured. Then I was forced to fight. And luckily I have been run away from their captivity and I am here. So these are the things which are doing this. Islam does not give the teaching of fighting. But these people had this desire of giving their life, and the purpose was to save the religion and to establish the faith. So these extremists today, there is a big difference between those and the true companions. Hazrat Masih Maud says that this example of the companions I want to see in my companions. The promised Messiah says they should give preference to Allah and nothing should stop and stand in their way. They should be offering their life and wealth. And some people write a letter to me that if there is a simple loss in a business or there is any other trial, so immediately they start running in doubt whether they have made a mistake by accepting the promised Messiah. And the doubts about God Almighty, about the promised Messiah, and all these things are there. He says in that condition everybody can understand that they are far away from the real objective. You ponder over it, that what is the difference between these people and the companions. The companions wanted to please Allah Almighty, whatever they might have to suffer in this way. And if there are difficulties and hardships and trials, then they would cry at that time in the companions that why they were sure that these trials are in the way of Allah, and they have understood this, that behind these trials there is the pleasure of Allah Almighty. In a Persian verse he has mentioned there, he said that any trial that comes on the people from God, there is a treasure of blessings of Allah Almighty underneath that. And then he says that Allah, the Holy Quran is full of their praise. Open it up. The life of the companions, that was the practical proof of the truth of the promised Messiah. And the companions, the stage which they had acquired, Allah Almighty has mentioned, minhum man qazana bahu wa minhum man yantazir. That some of those are those who have met martyrdom and they have achieved their objective, and others are waiting for that and they wish to embrace the martyrdom, but they didn't like the age to be long, and there should be facilities and amenities in their life. He said, when I see at this example of the companions, then the spiritual power of the Holy Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam and his great beneficence, one has to admit that the Holy Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam completely transformed them and changed their condition. Oh Allah, have the blessings of the Holy Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad. In nutshell, we can say that it is our responsibility that we should always be seeking the pleasure of Allah Almighty, and we should take it as the real objective of life. All our efforts and our struggle should be for the attainment of the pleasure of Allah Almighty, whether it is through the trials and difficulties. This pleasure of Allah Almighty, this is much better than all the benefits of this world. Allah Almighty enable us that we may become like that and offer our. After the prayer, I am going to lead a janaza prayer in absentia. That is Al-Hajj B.K. Addo Sahib. At the age of 84, he passed away in Ghana. Inna lillahi wa inna ilaihi rajiun. He was born Ahmadi, and his father's name Ismail bin Adda, and the mother's name was Jannat Addo. His father was Christian before. In 1928, he became Ahmadiyya and joined the community. Ismail Ad, and his mother died very early age, and he got the secondary school education, Addo Sahib, Ismail Addo Sahib, from Massih school. Then in 1964, he did BA in English. Then teacher training college in Ghana, he joined there, and professional training he got, and in various places he was appointed teacher. Up to 1980, he was in Salt One region. He moved there. From there, he was a teacher there, and with the Muslim students, he used to take care of their facilities, and he also built a mosque for the Muslim students. And in Nkrumah University, in science and technology, he was the English teacher there, and he had the opportunity of teaching in various colleges. Then he wrote a book about teaching English, which is very popular in Nigeria. He was given scholarship, University of Bangor in Wales. So then he got a diploma in UK, and his Jamaat services is that in Ghana he was having various duties to perform. In 1980, in the government of Ghana, he was Ethiopia. He was the appointed ambassador there, and he was in that office. Then UN, he was appointed chairman AOU, and then Mozambique and Angola, these states, to liberate these two countries, he played a very important role in that. And for some time, he was appointed ambassador in Libya. And wherever he went, he did service to the his style was that always giving preference to the religion over the worldly things, and that was his distinction. Hazrat Khalifatul Masih Rabi, after his migration, when he came, he said goodbye to his political career, and he came here to stay closer to Khilafat. And here he got a job of teacher in a school. He had a great love with Khilafat, and from all the Khilafats he always treated with great love and affection and obedience to Khilafat. Salman Rushdie against and the committee which was formed to write a book. When the committee was formed to write a book, he was a member it. He was a very important role in Tabligh. He used to hold Tablighi stalls and some programs on the radio as well. In various question answer sessions of the Jamaat, he used to participate. In 1986, when Hadhrat Khalifatul Masih Rabi established the Pan-African Association, he was appointed the first president, and he was the president of Peckham Jamaat. In 1994, after the start of MTA, when the Urdu class started, then he was the special students of this class, and he used to work very hard, and whatever effort he could do, he used to learn Urdu, and he was known as Bada Bacha in this class, and many people know him by he had 2 wives. At the time of the demise of the Khalifatul Masih Rabi, he was a member of the Electoral College at that time. When Jamia started, so for some time in UK, so he taught English for some time. He's very righteous and very full of worship, very kind and very courteous person he was. He was also very dedicated to worship. His family members said that he used to offer the Tahajjud prayer regularly. Even in sickness, he never missed it. He used to recite the Holy Quran in a melodious voice, and many verses of the Holy Quran he remembered, and also he used to remember the meaning and the commentary of that, so that he can use this knowledge in Tabligh. There are some Ghanaians say that in their houses there are such copies of the Quran where some notes have been written by in the hand of Ado Sahib. In 2005, he was able to perform Hajj along with 2 wives, and he was very jolly and simple person. Allah Almighty exalt his status and have mercy upon him. And he has got 10 boys and girls and very many grandchildren. Allah Almighty enable them to follow the path of righteousness and attach to the community. After the namaz, I am going to lead his janazah prayer in absentia.